define what is matter. Matter is made up of particles called atoms, which are too small to see. If you will observe your periodic table, you will see the different types of atom in their corresponding elements. You will also observe that there is an atomic mass, atomic number, and their symbols and names. We cannot consider light and sound as matter, because light does not take up space or has mass in the same way that the table does. Although air is made up of atoms, a sound traveling through the air is not. Matter has two properties. We have the physical and the chemical properties. Physical properties observe and measure without changing chemical identity of the sample, like color, length, volume, and opacity. However, chemical properties are observed and measured as the sample change their chemical identity. This includes acidity, reactivity, flammability, and toxicity. Other properties of matter is their mass and volume. Let's say, for example, you measure the mass of a certain sample of matter using a balance or a weighing scale. The mass of an object is the measure of the amount of matter that the object has. You will observe that the mass of each sample of matter is different from the other samples. You will also find out that each sample occupies the space. The measure of the space occupied by the matter is called the volume. Matter have different properties. So let us discuss the different properties of solid, liquid, and gas. Solid has definite shape and volume. It cannot flow because the particles cannot move from one place to another. And it cannot be compressed because the particles are close together and have no space to move into. Liquid has volume but no definite shape. It only flows and takes the shape of the container because the particles can move around each other. It cannot be compressed because the particles are close together and have no space to move into. The gas flows and completely fills the container because the particles can move quickly in all directions. It can be compressed because particles are far apart and have space to move into. See the illustration on the right, the particle model of matter. It describes the arrangement, movement, and energy of particles in a substance. This model can be used to explain the physical properties of solid, liquid, and gases. The particle nature of matter is a well description of matter. The basic principles of particle model are the following. Number 1, all matter is made up of tiny particles. Second, there is an empty space in between these particles. Third, the particles are in constant motion. And lastly, there are forces that act between these particles. So I hope you learned the different properties of matter and the basic principle of the particle model. So stay tuned for our next video lesson.